Alright, welcome to our first video for reading comprehension questions inside of your student reader for Unit 4. So remember, our first lesson is called Living Things. And we're looking at page 9 where the questions are, and you are going to use your regular notebook and double check with Classroom for the exact pages to write them in. Remember, in your notebook, you just have to write the answers. This is the teacher guide version, so we label it with TG, which just means teacher guide. You're adding to your own answers, or if you haven't had a chance to answer them on your own, you're copying down my responses to have them in your notebook to study. As we've seen in all of our other units, we know that our first question is, what is the main idea? And in our main idea, it's easy to get confused with the examples that our book uses to demonstrate those main ideas. But we're really looking for the overarching topic, not something super specific. So with question 1, our main idea is that all living things are made up of cells, and that all cells have certain characteristics in common. For example, all cells need energy, so they have mitochondria, which break down food into usable energy. We could also say that both cells have cell membranes, which allow things to come in and out of the cell. Any of those organelles that are the same between plant and animal cells would be a good example to use. Question number 2 usually talks about how do we know that main idea is the main idea. So here it says, what key details does the text provide to support the main idea of our text for section 1? So the text used details to make comparisons between plant and animal cells using the diagrams and the actual text words. So we have an animal cell on the left and a plant cell on the right, and we're able to see that they both have a nucleus, vacuole, cell membrane, cytoplasm, mitochondria. We also know they both have rough and smooth ER, Golgi bodies, ribosomes, but the difference would be the difference in the vacuole, the size of the vacuole, or the amount of vacuoles. Plant cells have chloroplasts, plant cells have a cell wall. So those are some of the differences. Question 3 talks about asks us, how are atoms and molecules related to cells? We talked about atoms and molecules way back at the beginning of the year in Unit 1. So how are they related to cells? Well, they have a relationship between atoms, molecules, and cells because cells are made up of atoms and molecules. Because of this, cells are matter. Living things take in new molecules from air, food, and liquids. These molecules get into the cells and help them function. So we're able to see that everything is made up of matter because everything is made up of cells and molecules and atoms. Question number 4 says, on pages 6 and 7, the text includes a diagram of a plant cell and of an animal cell. What are the most important similarities between these two cells? What are the most important differences between these cells? So, one of the things that's going to be the same is that they both have a nucleus, which is our command center. They both have a mitochondria, vacuoles, cytoplasm, and cell membranes. But remember, our plant cells are going to have a large vacuole, animal cells are going to have smaller ones, and our plant cells are going to have chloroplasts, which help aid in photosynthesis, and they're going to have a cell wall as well, which an animal cell doesn't have. Question 5. How does the text explain why plant cells have chloroplasts, while animal cells do not? So the text explains that plant cells have chloroplasts because chloroplasts contain a green pigment called chlorophyll that absorbs sunlight and gives plant cells their green color. The sunlight absorbed by the chloroplasts begins the process of photosynthesis. During photosynthesis, plants transform matter that is not food, including air and water, into matter that is food, specifically glucose. Animal cells don't photosynthesize, so they don't have chloroplasts. Because animals need to consume other plants or animals to get their energy. And our last question, question number 6, identify a quote from the text that answers the question, why do plants need to perform photosynthesis? There could be a couple of different ways that you could find the answer to this, but the teacher guide gives us an example of photosynthesis uses the sun's energy to convert carbon dioxide and water into a kind of sugar called glucose. Glucose holds stored chemical energy. Plants use glucose for growth and development. And you see that there are quotation marks around that phrase or those sentences because we're quoting directly from the text. That is what question 6 asked you to do. So make sure that if you found your own answer, that you are quoting exactly from the book. Don't just use your own words. Now that you're done with the Section 1 reading comprehension questions, you can go ahead and read Section 2 in your student reader. Once you've read Section 2, check out the video for Section 2, 5.4.2, Interconnected Organisms, to talk you through what you're going to be reading, help you highlight what's important, and then move on to questions as well. Have a great day.